I am so nervous right now. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Tism Pump. This is Pork Chop. And today, well, I mean, in this channel, I talk about my experiences with mental health, autism, addiction recovery, and my journey on becoming a baby bodybuilder. I've been putting off making this video for a few days now after deciding that I was going to do it, and I'm very nervous and I'm very scared and I really don't want to do it, but I've been doing a lot of inner work and some healing over the past few days, and I think that there's a lot of shame associated with addiction and a lot of the stuff that I've been through, and I'm just kind of scared to put it out. I'm mostly scared, I think, of actually editing this more than anything. Oh lol, literally, look at this. It says addiction, a lot of stuff I've been through. I'm just kind of scared to put it out there. I think mostly, honestly, scary. That's what my watch says right now. I don't know if you can see it. Fuck, it's pretty funny. I don't know. I've had this talk with so many different people, and I've told so many different people my story, so I don't know why I'm feeling nervous right now. The thing is that the last couple of videos have been very just like fun and cute and not super serious. So I was like, gotta give people some serious stuff and to let people know that they're gonna be okay. Addiction is hard. I'm just gonna kind of like just go straight into it. I look like freaking ass right now, and I'm on my roof, so I am shielding my face from the sun. Hope that's cute. Obviously wearing dark sport. Okay. Are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it? A bub, a porca choppa, meow more. Hey, are we gonna tell the people all the bad things mommy has done? Yes, just like a brief kind of thing about childhood. I was like, well, I was supposed to be gifted. I was a brain cell away from being gifted. Growing up, I was constantly doing like extra credit work, extra credit book reports in French and English, and like I got like A++s on everything. Like when I got just an A or an A+, like it was like the end of the frickin' world. I grew up with the kind of like not idea, but I guess like my feelings towards drugs is that I would never do them. Like I had no interest in it, and it's just not anything that I was ever gonna thought of even being an option for me. And when I was in school, I was severely bullied from like, I don't know, all throughout primary school until grade 6, and then I switched schools, thank God. I had no idea that it was that bad until a friend reached out to me, and she was like, oh, remember when your mom pulled you out of school for 2 weeks because the bullying was so bad? And I was like, I have no recollection of that. Like my brain really did protect me on that one, because I don't remember a single instance of being bullied. And when I switched schools, I made a bunch of new friends, and it was very different, and I was able to express myself, and it was just awesome. I guess I like kind of like smoked weed for the first time in grade 9, so like 13 or 14, and it was like I got like a shotgun at a party. Like that was what happened, and I was freaking out. And then not soon after, like I kind of fell into a specific friend group that, I mean, we did drugs. I remember the first time I got drunk though. It was with a group of friends at a park, and this was just a little bit of an indication that it wasn't going to work for me, that alcohol and drugs were going to be an issue, because I woke up the next day in the park and my friends had left me there. Great friend group. Yeah. And I remember I started working at Aritzia when I was like, was it grade 9 or grade 10? I don't know, around like 14, I think. And a girl that I knew worked there, and she was talking to me about MDMA, and I was like, oh, that sounds fun. So I got some with like a new best friend, and her and I were friends for I think like 13 years up until recently. We went and got it out of like, we picked it up at a Starbucks, like in a vent in the back of a Starbucks, I don't know, outside, and we did it. And I remember just being like, okay, this is what I've been wanting to feel my entire life. Like it was just, I was so happy. And at that point I had already been struggling with an eating disorder for a year. I had just started modeling a year before when I was 13. And I was like, this is it. Like, this is what I have been wanting for so long. And I remember doing it that night, and the next day saying to my friend, okay, like, let's do it again tonight. And she's like, no, like, we need to wait a week for, you know, our levels to go back up. Like, and I was like, well, no, like, I want to do it again. Like, let's do it again. So I think we waited a week, and then that night was like, I think it was Halloween or the night before Halloween of 2010. And I think I did it the next week. Oh yes, here's what happened. I thought I did it the next week. It turns out that, I don't know what happened. I think I got something that was like meth or something like that. And oh God, it was not the vibe. It was my mom's birthday the next day. I got everybody at our party to sing her happy birthday. I was tripping out, like, it was not good. And despite having that bad experience, I was like, we need to do this again ASAP. So for the next couple months, I spent a lot of time, actually not too far from here, like pretty much in an apartment, doing a gram or two every single day for a few months. And then around Christmas, I ended up in the hospital for trying to unalive myself. And my mom was kind of just like, she just didn't know what to do. So I was at the hospital, I think it was called 6 East at CHIO, it was a children's hospital. And I was 14 or 15, I don't know. I think 15, I don't know. And when I was in the hospital, a nurse was telling me that there was a strain of MDMA going around, and at the time that was like my drug of choice, that made it like impossible for people to urinate. And the thing is when you're on MDMA, you drink a lot of water. You're supposed to, I guess. I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know how drugs work anymore. It's been so long. And I basically was like, okay, I need to get out of the hospital. My friend at the time, my best friend was supposed to come visit me, and she was on the phone. I heard her like on the phone with her mom, and her mom was like, oh, I can bring you to visit. And she's like, oh, like I can't, I have a party to go to. And I was like, cute, love that. And she was like, I can bring you before the party. And she was like, no. That should have been an indication right there that I should have dropped her immediately. But no, I did not. Despite hearing that news from the nurse, the first thing I did is get out of the hospital and go do a bunch more MDMA. Cute. And then after another few months of that, it just wasn't really doing it for me anymore, if I'm being honest. Like, it just wasn't it never really has the same effect as it does when you first take it, really. I mean, maybe it does if you wait and don't do grams of it every day, but couldn't be me. If I'm gonna do something, I go ham at it, whether it's a job or drugs. So I switched to cocaine. And then for an entire summer, if you did see my eating disorder recovery video, I talked about how I literally just for an entire summer had like chili cheese dogs, taquitos, bubblegum Slurpees, and cocaine. And that is what I consumed. The following fall, sorry, I'm dissociating. The following fall, I seemingly OD'd. I don't know, I was told I OD'd. I slipped into a drug-induced psychosis, and there were 2 days, and I don't know which day it was, to be honest, that this happened. One was a Thursday and one was a Saturday, and I think it was the 21st of November, 2011, something like that, maybe the 27th, I'm not sure. Anyway, I was with a friend, and we went to this dude's house. I don't know how old he was. He was older, and we basically just like went and picked up a bunch of ecstasy, a bunch of coke, and a bunch of speed, and crushed it all up, and it was just like in a pile. And we were doing that, and I decided to shave half my head, and I was gonna dye it blue. I thought I got blue hair dye. It was red. So I thought I shaved my head, half my head, and I thought it was bleeding, which was like cute for me. Cheers to me having half my head shaved. What a time to be alive. That night I was like experiencing psychosis major. I was in a bathroom, I think for like 3 hours, and I couldn't decipher if I was like really like sickly and like ghost looking, like level skinny, or like really fat. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I was like rubbing stuff on the walls. Like, I don't know. I don't know what happened, to be honest, that night. All I do remember is the guy came in, and who was giving us the drugs, and he came in, and I just remember like kind of almost standing over my body and like watching this happen. I just remember having like no control over my body at all. And I was naked, and I just remember him hugging me and telling me that I was the love of his life, and that we were gonna get married, and all this shit that people say when they're extremely fucked up. I don't really know what happened necessarily in that bathroom, but we survived and we're okay. I just remember the next day, my dad, who I wasn't close with and I'm not close with, I just remember him picking me up, and the only thing I could say was like, I need help. So I decided to go to rehab. I went to this specific rehab 3 times, got kicked out all 3 times. It's funny though, because the actual program was 3 months, and the first time I was there was 6 weeks to the day. The second time I was there was for 2 weeks before I got kicked out. And the third time I was there was for 4 weeks, which to my knowledge at this ungodly hour is exactly 3 months. So technically I completed the program. The first time I was kicked out was because and shout out to me, because now they do significant mouth checks at Dave Smith Youth Treatment Center in Ottawa when they give you nighttime medication. I definitely took my sleeping pill and hid it in my mouth, and then took it out and crushed it up and snorted it in true drug addict fashion. So that was why I got kicked out the first time. The second time was I confided in one of the counselors, saying that I was really frustrated. I wanted to switch rooms because I had a roommate, and I think we were all just trying to do our best. That being said, we clashed, and I said, I'm just so mad I could just kill her. So then they wrote down that I had a plan to go into her room and strangle her at night, which is not at all accurate, not even in the slightest, considering I was probably 100 pounds and this girl was like 300, and she could just like sit on me. Cute. And then I got back 2 weeks later and I showed up in like a superhero costume, and I was like, guys, I'm back, hee hee hee. During rehabs round 2 and 3, that's when I stopped doing hard drugs. I thought after the first time, as soon as I got kicked out the first time, it was around my birthday, and I didn't do hard drugs for like 3 days, but my partner at the time, I asked my best friend, who was in a separate friend group than my partner at the time, to like take care of him and watch over him. And her definition of that was to introduce him to all of our like drug addict older friends. A great friend she was. And so when I got back, he had started doing hard drugs. I remember we went to the skate park because cute, like I was skateboarding at the time, and he was on drugs that day. And I think 3 days like after I relapsed and did hard drugs again. After I think round 2 and 3, I stopped doing hard drugs. That being said though, I did realize, like I thought after the first time going to rehab that I could just like smoke weed and drink. Not the case. Not the case, not even a little bit. If you're smoking 100 poppers a day and drinking anything and everything, it's just not gonna work. They would no longer take me at that rehab center. The third time they kicked me out, it wasn't a good fit. I have reasons to believe why I was kicked out that I will not share. I'm gonna be so for real. I'm gonna make a whole other video on this about crazy shit that we did in rehab, because honestly, some of the wildest things I've ever done were while I was sober in rehab, and it was a blast. It was fun. Like anyone who says that they hate rehab, it's just not it, babes. It's just not, because if you get to like put your life on pause and take like X amount of time and literally just do inner work and get food and have like shelter, which is fun. I love that for me. So after round 3, they wouldn't take me anymore, and I still needed help. So I applied to the Royal Ottawa's program, which is like our mental hospital here in Ottawa. It was there that I had success. I waited. See, the thing that's interesting is usually with rehabilitation programs, specifically this one, at least to my knowledge, what I was told, is that they'll let you know 24 hours in advance if they have a bed available. And the day after my 19th birthday, I was tired of waiting for a spot to open up, and I put myself into the Ottawa Withdrawal Management Center. And that was when I got sober, the day after my birthday. My birthday is March 31st. I put myself in the Ottawa Withdrawal Management Center April 1st. That day though, I smoked weed in the morning, so I say that I got sober on April 2nd. April 2nd, 2013. It's almost been 10 years and 6 months, 10 and a half years. That's cool. I got out, I went into the Ottawa Withdrawal Management Center, I believe it was on a Monday. I got out on a Thursday, and that Thursday I got a call from the program at the Royal Ottawa called Meadow Creek, where I actually got sober. And they told me that they had a bed available for me in a week, which is unheard of, because usually if you tell addicts that they have a certain amount of time to continue being addicts before they have to get sober, they go wild. And during this time, I did not do drugs. I managed to stay sober. I was just done with it. Like, I literally was so done with this life, with wanting to die every day, with trying to kill myself with drugs every single day for several years. And I stayed sober, and I went into this program, and I had already, as like younger, been diagnosed with major depressive disorder and an eating disorder. But it was there that I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, ADHD. What else is wrong with me, dude? I forget. BPD, ADHD. Oh, generalized anxiety I also had as a kid. Major depressive disorder. Girl, I don't know. So many diagnoses. Like, I can't even keep count if I'm being so for real. And there I got on medication, which was really helpful. Like, I actually was able to see a psychiatrist. And I had had a lot of issues finding psychiatrists throughout my life. I remember one time, like, after my mom and I kept bringing it up to my doctor, after a couple years, she was like, this is what she said verbatim that I can remember. The reality of the situation is that, and this was mind-blowing to me, is that psychiatrists don't like difficult cases, and your daughter just has too much wrong with her. And I was told that at like 18, which is a lot to hear as an 18-year-old. Yeah, in early sobriety, like right towards the end of my drug usage and in early sobriety, I spent a lot of time doing graffiti. When I first got sober, my mom got me an apartment, and I honestly attribute my sobriety to my mother, if I'm being completely real. You know, when you see homeless people, and there was a time where I did not have a home. I never slept on the street. I couch surfed a lot. But when you see people that are homeless, it's so easy to just be like, they're a drug addict. And it's like, really, we all find our own ways to cope. And when people have had a long day, what do? They go home and drink a glass of wine. And it's like, fuck you for being judgmental of people. It's like, what the fuck else would you do if you couldn't, if you had nowhere to sleep, if you had nowhere to call home, if you didn't have access to laundry and clean sheets and running water and food? And for that reason, I genuinely think that my mom is the reason why I was able to stay sober. She has given me unflinching, I think is the right word, maybe not, I don't know. She has given me so much support over the past 10 years. And it's interesting because, I mean, when you become a mother, you don't get a handbook on how to be good at doing what you do. And we've had a lot of issues, her and I, and she has just grown so much in the past 10 years, as have I, and she has just done incredible things. I think the thing is that in early sobriety, especially for me with all the mental health diagnoses that I had, every day for about 10 years, and part of this was while I was in active addiction, but the first, I would say 5 or 6 years, and then throughout, since 13, and then for the first 5 or 6 years, I said, I was suicidal on a daily basis, and being borderline, I remember a very specific instance actually that I bring up a lot when people ask kind of what borderline is like. I remember one day in early sobriety, I went and picked up Subway, and I had a cat at the time, Bean, and I was just like on a high. Like, I wasn't high, but I was on a high. And I remember pretending I was a ballet dancer, like mania major, and I was just so happy, and I was like dancing around my apartment, and then Bean knocked my Subway cookie onto the ground, and it was still in the package, like I could still eat it. And I went in 0.2 seconds from being high, happy, the happiest I had ever felt, to I want to die. I need to kill myself right now. That's a lot of emotion to go through, and I would go through that probably like 6 to 10 times a day. And when I was going through that, I would call my mom, and she would talk me off the ledge constantly. The thing about sobriety is it's very difficult. It is a lifelong commitment to improving yourself. It's hard. Every time I went into rehab, it was always my decision. No one ever told me I needed to go. No one ever pushed me into it. And that's the thing, is that when you get sober, or when you're doing something, if you're not doing it for yourself, it's just unsustainable. The reality is if you're getting sober for someone else, it's probably not gonna last. Maybe it could last a few weeks, maybe it could last a few months, even a few years, but at the end of the day, if you're not on that journey of recovery for you, and I've known people that I've been in rehab with that have had kids so that they would stay sober, it's just not sustainable, unfortunately. You need to really look inward and really, really on such a desperate level want to heal in order for this journey to be sustainable and to be effective. And it's fucking hard. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it's easy, because it's not. I don't really have a blueprint for sobriety. I think that everybody has their own way of going about it and their own way of what works best for them. A lot of people ask me if I go to meetings. I don't. I go to get chips or keychains for major events. I got one for my 1 day, for my 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, I think 6 months, a year, 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years. And then I didn't go for 8 years. And then I went to get my 10-year chip. I got a medallion, and I probably won't go back for another 5 years and then 10 years. And that's okay. I mean, to me, I've not had good experiences in those rooms personally, and that's okay. I mean, I've developed my own ways of coping, and everyone's recovery journey is different, and that's mine. I don't really know what else to say. All I know is that there is a lot of shame associated with addiction, whether it's whatever kind of addiction it may be. And I think the best way to dismantle that kind of shame is to just talk about it and be open and honest, because, oh my God, I just literally watched a spider eat another spider on a spider web on my balcony. The species of spiders within this building is just, didn't know they existed in Canada, if I'm being completely honest. The spider is either fucking this other spider or eating it. I literally cannot tell. There seems to be a struggle. I do not know if it's consensual. If it's being eaten, it's probably not consensual. If it's having sex, maybe it's consensual, I hope. But you know what? I don't really know what's going on in the spider realm. Anyway, all I know to be true is that if you are suffering from addiction, reach out to somebody. It's hard, and there is a lot of shame associated with it, but you can do it. I'd like to say that there are a lot of resources available to help you, especially with mental health, but there aren't. There just aren't. And it's really, really difficult within our healthcare system in Canada to get help for mental illness and for addiction. And that's my experience, and I think within this country it is a universal experience. You either have to be in the middle of killing yourself or have had to attempt suicide to get seen by a psychiatrist, and even then you have to wait for 12 hours. And will you get followed up with? No. Luckily, we're in a position where we have access to a lot of educational tools and information, but at the end of the day, you have to get sober for you. It's been a very difficult and beautiful journey getting to experience my emotions, but it's fucking hard. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it's easy. I don't really know what else to say. I hope maybe this was helpful. If you have any questions, you can totally DM me or hit me up on Instagram or on YouTube. TikTok, it's at TismPump, TISMPUMP, and I would love to chat with you about it if you're struggling or if you know someone's struggling. I've talked to a lot of people about this before, so I'm here for you. But at the end of the day, the biggest person who has to show up for you is you, and you're the only person that you can depend on. So if you're struggling with this shit, show up for yourself, and you can do it. And I wanted to bring up, I guess now, I didn't think about it until this very second, but when I first got sober, I got a tattoo, and it says, it's one of my first, I think maybe it was my second tattoo, and it says, "There's always a cure." And I remember getting it and going to my rehab and someone being like, "What's that for? Is that for addiction?" There's no cure for addiction. And there is, dude. There is a cure. There is a cure for everything. There isn't, but there is. And I think that there is, in the sense that you have the ability to find goodness in moments that are difficult, and you have the ability to pull yourself out of it. It's just, are you willing? If you're willing to put in the work and do the work, then you can live a happy and successful life. Like, it's been almost 10 and a half years, and is my life perfect? No. But like, another thing I have to work on is comparing myself to other people, because we're all on our own separate little journeys. Yes, we are. So anyway, that's it. That's the video, and I'm happy that I did it. I am gonna have a hard time editing this, but we're gonna put it out for tomorrow, and I'm gonna do this. So anyway, thank you if you, for some reason, made it to the end. I don't know why you would, but if you did, thank you for making it to the end. And if you or a loved one are experiencing this, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's fucking hard, but you gotta put in the work. Anyway, thank you for watching, beautiful people, and I hope you guys have a lovely day. Yeah.